am Tom Bancroft, and this is a speed draw of me going over some concept designs for our new project called Bjorn the Last Unicorn. As you saw, I wrote up there who that original drawing was by, and that was Naomi Bethel. Here's some art by another artist of ours, Sam Abner, and that's TAMBO. And this is the BECCA character, also by Sam Abner. But this original lineup that I'm about to do, this one, is by Naomi, and she's been doing multiple versions of this. And so my job today is not only as CEO, but as a character designer myself, is to go over this design and try and give her some input on ways to strengthen these designs. They look great already, very happy with them. So I'm going to start with TAMBO. And TAMBO is like this almost late 50s, early 60s kind of a surfer type, because this is set in California. And he also used to be Sylvester Stallone's stunt double way back when. We may never say that in the show, I'm not sure, but that's part of his background. As I'm doing this character design over hers, there's a lot of things I like about what she did. And so I'm just trying to, in some cases, simplify a few things. And in other cases, kind of redesign a little bit of what's there. I like the overall kind of top-heavy, big-chested kind of a character. I also felt like he needed to be a little bit taller, so that's also why I'm starting with the head, but then kind of bringing it up. The other thing I felt like is he was a little too erect. He's too straight up and down. He kind of needs to be a little bit head hunched forward. I think it fits his chill vibe. He's going to be a very chill kind of a guy. And so also we love the idea of having him in sort of Hawaiian t-shirts. And so I started with this sort of kind of barrel chest, or kind of, you could say it's kind of a box shaped chest. But I am getting his butt out a little bit more. And again, shooting the head forward with the neck. I really like the skinny legs. They're a little short right now, and you'll see as I keep going, I'll probably lengthen those. And bigger collars. It's kind of going through and trying to find more definite shapes. So like either bigger shapes or even smaller shapes. And a lot of that comes down to, well, where do you want to taper? Do you want to taper from the shoulder, have it being the widest there, and then taper all the way down the wrist? And then, as you can see right now, I have it kind of the opposite of that for the legs. It's wider at the ankles than it is as it goes up to the crotch area. So, and I did add some length there to his shorts and made them cargo shorts, which I think kind of fits that sort of, I don't want to call it dad vibe, because he's not a dad really, probably. But anyway, and then same with the feet too, like getting sandals on him. I have sandals like that. My kids call them Jesus sandals. That nose that I'm just playing with there, I felt like it was tilted, and so I tilted it a little bit more. It's very much like one of the ones that Sam did in his design. I really liked that nose shape, so that was my bigger change here. I decided to do the ponytail. I really like the ponytail, but I even shrunk it a little bit, so it's just this little tiny thing sticking out there. We can maybe even make it a little bit smaller. Here I'm just making the legs a little bit longer and then reducing his whole body probably a little bit. It's probably just a little too tall, but I like the overall there. So now I'm starting into basic designs here for Bjorn. I like that his head and his body are about the same length, not counting his legs. But I want to get a little chest shape there. That'll be a nice color change. I'm doing sort of straight on one side and curved on the other for his legs and his hands. And then adding this tilt to the body, I do like that it gives him a little bit more of a butt. Like it feels like he's in a pose where he's sticking his butt out a little bit. And now I'm just trying different head shapes, like working kind of close to what she did, but can I push, the cranium, make it smaller? And maybe that might be something I like. I made the muzzle nice and big. And of course, a very simplified kind of unicorn horn. But in the end, I don't really love this face. So you'll see in a second, I'm going to try another version. It's just kind of bland. I'm liking parts of the body, and I like that the mane there is working, I think, pretty nicely. It has some flair to it, and I want the mane to be kind of a a kind of piece of hair, almost like, because he's going to be upright on 2 legs. I like the idea of his mane feeling like kind of long hair. So here's me going a different direction completely. Still don't like that, so I got rid of that. And then going a little closer to what we had, but on some earlier designs we had the more circular eyes, and then we also had a muzzle that was a little bit more pronounced. And so now I'm really pushing that muzzle to make him feel like, you know, like it's a horse too. It's got a little bit of alligator vibes to it now, and that's one thing I don't like. I also made the horn a little bit smaller and stubbier, and I think I like that better. It's got a little bit more personality there. I'm shrinking that muzzle so it's not quite so much like an alligator, and I definitely do like this better. I'm probably just going to leave this for now. Again, this whole lineup, I did all 5 characters. You'll see at the end there's 5 of them, and I did them all in a little less than an hour. So it was like 53 minutes was the original video length for this speed draw, and I've obviously sped it up quite a bit. So this 13-minute video that you're watching or so was actually about 53 minutes, but that's still fairly fast to go over that many characters. So hopefully you're getting something out of this. And that's Chad. So Chad is only in the first episode so far, and he's Becca's kind of boyfriend, or at least they're kind of serious. And so I'm talking about, well, I want to make Becca's face, I'm already in my head, I kind of have an idea of Becca being a little bit more V-shaped in her face. And so I'm trying more of a squared jaw with Chad. And I'm hoping that makes their heads different, right? So I didn't want them both to have V-shaped faces. And I know hers isn't yet, but I'm about to do that next. The other thing I'm doing is I'm simplifying this puffy jacket that he has. I love the puffy jacket that Naomi did, but it's just for animation. It's too many shapes, so I'm cutting down how many puffs there are. Also, I'm kind of giving a nice little waistband, and same with the at the wrists. I'm making those really tiny and have like a little not a waistband, but a band to it. And I think that gives an extra taper to the design, both in the waist and at the wrists, and I think that works kind of nice. Kind of being a little bit, I'm sticking to her legs pretty closely, but I wanted to just delineate that they, you know, have a straight and then a curve on one side and a straight on the inside. And then I gave him boots. He's going to be hiking, and he's in the mountains in the episode, so rather than tennis shoes, I've given him boots. They look like Frankenstein boots, I think, but and then kind of curved, a little bit more curved hands, a little bit like Tambo, but kind of longer, rounder fingers. So kind of like where that's going. Again, I'm reducing him a little bit. I always take a second look after I've designed the character, at least like especially in a lineup like this. You know, I want to take a second look and just go, okay, do the heads feel proportionate to each other? That's a big one, but also height-wise. Are they feeling like they're about the right height? And Tambo's a tall guy. He's a big guy. So he definitely is bigger than your, say, 20 to 25-year-old Chad. And Becca's a little short, so you'll see in a little bit. I'll probably make her a little bit taller. I think her body's a little too small. So here I am. Now I'm doing what I said I was going to do, which is, you know, make her face is a little bit more of a V shape. But I like big foreheads so that you can get eyebrows in there. So I've lowered the eyes. It also gives her that cuter look too, I think. Just bringing the eyes down to the middle or below middle line, especially on a kind of an attractive girl character. It can make them look very young, though. That's the only problem. But, you know, so she is supposed to be around 20. Got rid of that ear. I wanted to kind of create a little bit more of a hanging hairstyle, so we don't need to see her ears. So I really liked what she did. And by the way, even my version here is not the final version. We're going to keep changing it. As you can see here, I just changed the pose a little bit. I'm sticking her hip out a little bit more on the left, and then I changed the legs too. I changed which one was in the foreground, which one was in the background, and gave her leg a little bit more curve in the back. And I'm lowering the elbows to, I like, when you're putting your hands on your hips, I think it looks good to have the elbows really low. Oh, and then I'm trying to figure out how she's holding this phone. And I gave the phone a little bit better silhouette. You couldn't quite tell what it was. So that's another little tweak. I'm deciding on what kind of feet, shoes. I like the small feet, but I'm going with the boots that Sam and earlier Naomi had done also. So I kind of like the boots, so I'm sticking with that. This is where I want to thicken her up a little bit. I'm going to end up making her body a little bit larger, and then same with her head. And then reproportioning her in the lineup. There we go. So kind of going back and forth so you can kind of see where it started. You could just say this is sort of artist interpretation. This is my version of these characters in a way. I think we all do this in a way too, but as the CEO, but also a character designer myself, I'm also trying to influence Naomi and say, well, here's some thoughts. And that's really what this draw over is all about is, hey, you want to try some of this? And I'm trying to go for a style with this show too, where it's a little bit more Powerpuff Girls. It's got a little bit more of a graphic kind of a style to the characters. It's not quite that, but it's got some of that. And so I think you see that in that Bjorn design right now. I don't think TAMBO is quite simplified enough. I think we can go even further. So just trying to find that. So with Patty here, she's not a nice cat. So she's kind of a jerk, and she's kind of everything about the internet that you don't like. It's all ego for her. And so when Bjorn came into her life, and Patty was the #1 pet influencer. And as soon as Bjorn shows up, a real live cute unicorn, he ends up becoming the #1 pet influencer like right away, and kind of dethrones her. And so immediately, and they live together on top of that, and they kind of share the love and affection of BECCA. And so there's kind of a war between those two the cat and Bjorn quite a bit. So you can see me going back and forth just to kind of show you what it was before and what I've done with it. Overall, I like it. I mean, I think there's some improvements here. But I hope that this is something that you're going to enjoy yourself when you watch Bjorn the Last Unicorn, when we launch it sometime soon on the Pencilish YouTube channel that hopefully you're watching this on right now. And you can invest in Pencilish if you go to pencilish.com. Thanks for joining me. We're going to do much more of this.